Hey, welcome back to the channel. I know it has been a while since I've posted a video, but I finally have some time and something to show off. A little while back, the game Star Trek Star Realms came out, which is a Star Trek skin on top of the classic Star Realms deck building game. It's a lot of fun, but if you're familiar with Star Realms, you're familiar with the game. It's just they painted the cards differently. Instead of the cards, the kind of generic blob and that kind of thing, factions from Star Realms, they put the Star Trek factions on them. So you got Klingon, Romulan, and Dominion and Federation. So that's pretty cool. And it was a 1 to 4 player, or no, 2 to 4 player game, right? Not bad, pretty cool. But recently they just came out with the first expansion, which is the Borg Invasion set. Now, this adds a whole different aspect to the game that's really not a reskin of anything from classic Star Realms. So what this does is it adds the Borg as a faction to the game, but they're not a faction of cards you can draw from and add to your deck. They will either function as a another non-player enemy that you're fighting against. So you can play solitaire, or you can play up to 4 people against the AI of the Borg, right? Because they have their own behavior of what they do. Or, as I said, you can play by yourself solitaire, which is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to show you how a solitaire game of Star Trek Star Realms Borg Invasion goes. But the other way you can play it is one player can play as the Borg with their own deck of cards that are special and unique just to them, and then the other players will gang up against the Borg player. And the different Borg ships that you'll fight is in a solitaire game, or I think even a 2-player game against the Borg. It's a 25 damage Borg ship versus 50 damage or 50 health players, which again sounds uneven, but it really isn't. And then against the other players, if you're doing it more player count, it would be either an authority 50 Borg cube. I think it's Locutus's cube. And then there's a 75 health one, which is the tactical cube. So, but anyway, I'll be going up against the Borg sphere today. That's easy to say. It'll be a solo game, solitaire game. I've got it all set up and everything. It's ready to go. I have played it about 10 times. I've won maybe twice. When I win, it's usually pretty decisive and pretty early. If I lose, it's either very decisive and very early, or it drags on for a while, and then it turns into a rout where I just get waves of drones hitting me, and I can't come back from it because they keep eating up all my ships from my discard pile. But we'll see how this goes. Oh, the other thing that adds to it is gambits, which were in the original Star Realms, one of the expansions for that. It's just like an extra ability that you have. And the way that this one works is you have 2 gambits that you have as an additional ability per player. So I'll draw 2 of those at random. We'll see what we get on that. But we'll get the game played. We'll see what it looks like. And then after I finish up, hopefully I'll win. But if I get my butt kicked, either way, we'll come back here and I'll give you my final thoughts on it. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can get this played here. So I've got the board set up. I have the Borg sheet kind of overlapping the playmat for the basic game. This way you can see where the Borg, in this case, sphere, but it could also be a cube or a tactical cube, depending on the difficulty and number of players you're playing against, would be. So the in this case, this is the sphere will move toward the highest value card based on the number in the corner here each turn, and then whichever one it'll stop 1 space per turn, and it will assimilate whichever card it picks up. It passes over, it'll pick it up. You have a chance to win it back by using attack value for the purchase cost to get it back into your discard pile. Otherwise it becomes part of their collective, and it becomes 1 point of attack against you each turn. Once it's gone into the collective, there's no recovering it. There is one brief house rule that I was going to mention real quick. For cards that say you can destroy a location or a base or whatever they call it, normally that means when the other player has 1 in play. In this case, the way I've been playing it is it's an automatic. You can destroy 1 card from assimilation, but you don't get it. It just goes away. It gets trashed. So, and again, that's just a house rule. The cards say that. They don't really have an official rule for what that means right now, so that's the way I've been playing it out. It has not made a big difference in the game. I have won a couple of times solitaire, but for the most part, it does not go well. So anyway, that's what will happen. That'll move each turn. The board goes first. We'll take their turn, and then we'll take my turn. If you're familiar with Star Realms at all, it's a very straightforward deck builder. And I'll just kind of explain it as we go. So I have my starting hand of cards here. I need to draw my two gambits. So they're offside here. We have the Planetary Shield, which whenever my actual authority, not my locations, are attacked, I can reduce the damage by 1. And then I can draw a card if I trash the card. The other one is the Aggressive Culture. Not the Endorians, that's cool. Each turn I just gain 1 extra attack. So that hopefully will come in a little handy here, but that's the 2 random gambits I've drawn. I've got them off the side here just a little bit. They may not be in camera range, but I'll be able to see them. I'll kind of move them up here if I can so you can sort of see where they are. Okay. So now, as I said, we'll take the turn starting with the Borg. So what they will do is they will move toward the highest value card. That would be the Hall of Warriors down here, the Klingon base. So they're going to move 1 space here. They stop over this Romulan T7 Stormbird class. They'll pick it up. That means they're currently assimilating it. There was no attack damage to be done to me yet. So they will use their Hive integration for the Romulan. And even if they integrate more Romulan stuff, it's just once per turn that this goes off, right? Each type of faction that they assimilate will give them a different ability for that round. In this case, when they assimilate a Romulan ship, it just does damage to me. So I have my handy-dandy iPad here with my... let me unlock it again. That was silly. So I've been using the Lotus app for scoring. That just makes it a little easier. So I don't have to worry about all the little tokens and everything. So anyway, I start with 50. The Borg sphere starts with 25. You think that would be a mismatch, but it really isn't. So they assimilated a value 2 Romulan ship, which means I lose 2 authority right off the bat for that. So that will just sit off to the side. And then they draw a new card. If it's a drone, it gets assigned to me and does damage. But if it's another ship, it'll just go onto the board. Okay, so it's a Dederadex class Romulan ship. So it goes into play there. Okay, now it's my turn. So I've got my 5 cards here. I have 3 trade value with my 3 scout ships, and I've got 2 attack with my raiders, which is good, because what I'll do is I'm going to take my 2 raiders, I'm going to play them, and I'm basically going to rescue this D7 from being assimilated and put it into my discard pile. So not only does that deny the Romulans the purchase, I'm sorry, that should stay in play, I apologize, deny them the purchase of that, or the assimilation of that card into their collective for attack value. It also gives it to me. And I got to spend attack on it instead of trade. Now I'll get to what happens with that as well here in a second. But anyway, I also have 3 trade value. So I think what I will do is, well, I'm going to lose this next. When that gets taken, it's a Klingon location. Klingon ships, cards, locations will cost me the highest value card in my discard pile. So I'm going to lose that Romulan ship to them again anyway. But at least it's a turn where they don't have it in their collective. So I will go ahead and claim this Jem'Hadar attack ship because I can't afford this, unfortunately. So I'll pick this up. And I still have 2 trade left. Hopefully this will not be a drone. It is not. Oh, it's a value 2. Okay, good. Okay, so this is another Romulan ship, and it's worth 2, just like the other one is. And this one's an attack value. And it has that you can scrap a card in the trade row, which is excellent. So I'll put that in my pile. That's good because now when it reassimilates that other Romulan ship, it won't be an attack value. It'll be a trade value one, so that's okay. So hopefully this will not be a drone. Okay, it's a Galler class Dominion ship, so that's good. Okay, now I did an attack on the Borg. The highest value of all my attacks together came from my independent faction, which is my Raiders, right? I did 2. I'd had nothing else putting out damage. So because of that, their shields have adapted to my independent faction attacks. So this will just kind of sit here to remind me that I can't do damage of any kind to drones, to reclaiming stuff off of being assimilated, or to the direct damage to the sphere itself from independent. So that's the end of the turn. So now I will just draw my 5 for my other hand here, and I'll move on. So this will go away because it's the start of the Borg turn, so it's a new turn for them. They would have assimilated into their collective any cards they had on here, and they would immediately do damage to me. They don't have any of those yet, so they don't do any damage to me yet, but they're going to move down here, and they're going to pick up the Hall of Warriors from the Klingons. Now, the value on this is bad because I'm not going to have 8 attack to try to win this thing back, and I wouldn't be able to do it with independent anyway. And also, it's this. So this is their hive integration ability for this. They assimilate a ship with the highest cost from any discard pile. Well, there's only one discard pile. It's mine. So if you can time this right to where you have no discard pile when they pick up a Klingon faction card, that's the best. But I don't. So let me put this down here. Go through my discard pile, and as I said, the highest value, both of them are 2s, as you can see here. So I have a choice between the Vash Hatham class or the Stormbird class. So I'm going to take care of getting rid of this one. Put that back. Okay. And then they do their hive integration again with the Romulans again. And that will mean that I take another 2 damage from that ship getting picked up again. So off camera, let's put it back real quick. Now I'm at 46 to their 25. Okay, and then the card gets replaced, and it is a Stormbird class, so that's fine. Okay, and my cat is here. Remove her. Thank you, baby. Okie dokie. So now we have 2 cards about to be assimilated. Okay. So, it goes back to my turn again now. If you're familiar with Star Realms, you'll know that all I have in my hand now are 5 recruit. So, with that, we will not be able to get up this Dederadex, unfortunately. We'll try to see if I can get the Prakesh, because I do have another Dominion ship, so some synergy is good. But I want to have some variety, too, because these shields don't go away until a 3rd shield goes down, and then at the end of that round, the shield goes away. So I'm going to pick up this Gowler class for 3. And then there's a D5 attack, cruiser, Klingons. So I still have 2 left. Both of those are basically the same. I could pick this one up to get that Stormbird back that I'm not going to get here. Or I could pick up another one of these attack ships. This is not in any danger yet, so I'll spend the 2 here because that'll also limit the number of cards I'll have to take off of here because you don't want to start a cascade of drones if you can help it. So I'll go ahead and pick up this Stormbird here. Now this, of course, is my entire discard pile, all my cards. So these will all be shuffled up, and I'll have to draw 5 again. The good thing is, if they hit a Klingon this turn, or assimilate a Klingon this turn, it won't affect me because I don't have anything in my discard pile. But shuffle those up. We have to see what comes out of here first. And it's our first Federation ship, Danube class. So low value, which is good. It's going to hurt when they hit this Dederadex because that's going to be 6. Okay, so let me get my 5. I've got my hand. Okay, now it's their turn. So they're going to assimilate these 2 ships. They're gone forever, and that hits me for 2. So I'm down to 44 now. Again, off camera here, but I'm just tracking it. And now they're going to move back toward the highest value, which is this card here. So they're going to go here. They're going to pick up the Dederadex, which will hit me for 6, which brings me down to 38 of my 50. And I haven't done a point of damage to them yet. And there's our first drone. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, so that will get assigned to me. And a Landra class, low value Romulan ship. Okay. So I have this drone that I'll have to deal with. So we'll see what my hand looks like here in a second. But that's where we are right now. So if I can somehow pull together 6 attack with Romulans or anything other than independent, I might be able to pull this ship back out of assimilation. But we'll see. So it's my turn. So I do have a good mixed hand here. So we've got a Stormbird worth 3. Got a Raider, got a Galler class, Prakash, and that's worth 4 damage. That's excellent. And this. So I will have 6. I will have enough to pull that ship off the pile, which is good. So, pull that out of assimilation, I mean. So, that being said, these 2 damage don't do anything because of their shields. So these are just worthless right now. And I have these cards here. So this one is worth 3. I'll come back to my shopping here in a moment. So, actually, you know what? I'll do my shopping first because I need to make sure I can get rid of this drone. So I have 3 to shop with. So, for 3, I'm going to pick up these 2 Klingons because I'm afraid that they're going to... Well, I can just sit here and kind of collect this, but if they're all the same value. So, maybe I won't collect them. Well, I should collect... This is where it comes into strategy. I'm not sure where to go right now because all the ships are value 1. So there's no reason for the sphere to have to move. That's a tough call. I'm going to pick up the land... Well, okay, we'll see what happens. I'll pick this up for 1, this D5. See what we get. Okay, so we got a Ketracel White facility. So they're going to go assimilate this next, unless I do something different. And then for another 1, I'm going to pick up this D5, because again, this also lets me call my deck a bit. So I'll pick this up. No whammies. Okay, good, no whammies. And I will take my chance, and I will pick up this other lander class here, this science vessel. And for 3, I hope I don't get a drone. I'll get... Oh, God, that's going to be terrible. Okay, so they're going to assimilate the Enterprise here in a second. But anyway, okay, so I only have the 1 drone to contend with, and I have 6 on here to rescue that. I have to put 6 damage for the cost on here to rescue that from assimilation, and I have to get rid of this drone. If I don't get rid of this drone, he will assimilate any... At his point, it's 1 point of assimilation... I'm sorry, 1 point of cost from your discard pile per drone, and they add up. So if I had 4 drones, I'd have to lose a 4-cost ship. If I can't lose a 4-cost, I lose a 3 and a 1. If I can't lose that, I lose 2 2s. You know, that kind of thing. It's sequential. So the drone is sitting there. He would have gotten me last turn during the Borg turn, but I didn't have anything in my discard pile. So he just sits there until I can do something about him. So I can do something about him, which is good, with these 2 Dominion ships. So I have... the target opponent discards a card. So when this is a rule from the game. The discarding a card means I can move the Borg ship 1 space on the row per discard. So I can move it 2 spaces. I can actually get it away from this Galaxy class, at least buy myself some time. So I'm going to do that, and I've got a total of 6, and then 2 and 2 because of the synergy of playing other Dominion cards together. So I have a grand total of 10, which is excellent. So for 10, I'm going to pick him up for 6 of the 10. And then I'm going to put 4 on the Borg here for 26. And then I'm going to move him 2 spaces for the discards. 1, 2, okay. Because he's going to try to get back to this Galaxy class. That's going to buy us a round or 2 where this is in play, and it won't pick him up. Because when they pick up a Federation ship, they heal based on the cost. So that's terrible. So that would be the round. So that is it. So now, I'm sorry, 10. I made a mistake. I got to put 1 back on the Borg here. Hang on a minute. So I did 4. So we're at 5. So I have to subtract 3 because 3 goes on to the Borg, and I had to spend 1 of that remaining 4 from the 10 to get rid of the drone. So the drone goes away, and now I've done a lot of damage with the Dominion. So there's a Dominion shield calibration going on over there. This will go away. Hive integration. I'll draw 5 new cards, and they will do their worst. So they are now going to move back toward this Galaxy class, and they're going to pick up this Ketracel White facility, which is a 6. And when they pick up a Dominion card, that means I have to discard cards, and based on the value of the assimilated cards. So this means I have to discard 2 cards for a 6-cost card. So I have Romulan damage here. I want to hold on to this because that will let me do some damage and bring down their shields and let all my damage work again. So I'm definitely keeping this. And these are all the same thing. I don't need the Raider because he's not going to do damage anyway, so I'll discard him, and I'll discard one of these scouts. So that's my 2 cards that I had to discard from that. And then he does 2 damage to me from these cards up here, so I'll take 2 more, which takes me to 36 of my 50. This gets replaced. It is not a drone. It's another Federation ship. And it's back to me again. So now, as I said, I have 2 and 4 attack. I can't rescue the facility. I can't liberate the facility, so I'm going to lose that. But I will put 4 damage on the Borg straight up. Well, let me purchase first. Again, it's always good to purchase first because then you'll see if you're going to get other drones that you want to wipe out, because otherwise they'll start taking cards out of your discard. So I will go ahead and take... I'll take the Romulan ship here because it's worth 2. That way I only have to draw 1 card. And it's not a drone, it's a Miranda class Federation ship. So now, that was my 2 that I spent. That goes away. And then I've got 4 left for attack, which I will pour all of that onto the Borg, which will take them down to 18. So we're doing good. Also, because that was the 3rd attack, and the highest amount of damage, in this case all, came from the Romulans. If it splits up, it's still whichever one did the most damage. So if I had no shields on them, and Federation, Klingon, and Romulan all did damage, but Federation and Klingon did 2 and 3, and the Romulans did 5, they would only get the Romulan shield. So this is their 3rd shield, but that means, now that my turn is over, those shields will come down. I've adjusted my phasers or what have you to deal with their shield frequencies, and it's back to me again. So we're back to them again. I only have 4 cards to draw, which is good. So I will shuffle up my hand here. Draw my 5th card. And I've forgotten, by the way, to be using my gambits. So, last turn, I'm just going to give myself back 1 and give them 1. So, 1 more damage. So I'm going to take them down to 17. I'm going to put myself back to 37. I'm going to try not to forget this anymore. Maybe I'll leave them down here so I can see them, because I tend to forget them if I don't see them. So we'll do that. So I have cheated myself and them out of a couple, but I figure 1 round of it, not a big deal. So my 5th card. Okay, so I have a full hand of cards. I have no discard pile. They are assimilating, so they will take this. They'll hit me for 3 minus 1 because of the shield. So they'll hit me for 2. So I'm down to 35. And they're going to head toward, unfortunately, the Galaxy class and assimilate that. That will heal the Borg for 8. 4, 6, 7, 8. And they're right back to 25 where they were, just when I thought I was doing good. And it's an Oberth class Federation ship. Okay, so they've hit me, they've assimilated, now it's my turn again. So I've got my hand of cards, I've got 4 scouts and a Landra. So I've got 4 recruit and 3 damage. I can't rescue the Galaxy class, obviously, so I'll just wind up pouring all that onto the Borg sphere. For 4, I think I kind of want to take the Oberth class because it has healing and attack if I can get more Federation cards, which I'll get with this one here. So I'm going to pick this up for 2. No whammies. Okay. And then I will pick this up for 1 because I want to try to start having some synergy. Whoops. With my Federation cards. So that'll leave me with, what'd I say? 4, so I've got 1 left. Okay. Oh god, it's a Romulan base. And I have 1 left. I feel like I'm really tempting fate, but I will pick up this other Jem'Hadar attack ship. Okay, good. So it's all Federation and Romulan stuff right now. And there are, of course, these Ferengi ships as well, the Marauders, which are the the slightly better ones, 2 trade value and trash them for 2 attack. They also count as independents. And the Borg never actually assimilate these because, the Ferengi are not worth assimilating. So they're just going to sit there. Typically, I don't draw those too often when I play, but, we'll see how it goes. So that was my 4. I spent that, and I haven't done my attack yet because I was waiting to make sure I didn't have any drones come out. And then I've got 3 attack value. I don't get to draw the card because I don't have any of the Romulan cards that I played this turn. So I'm going to hit them for 4 because of my gambit here with the aggressive culture. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that is it. So I will draw my next 5 cards. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right, and it's over to the Romulans, to the Borg. So they will have assimilated the Enterprise D, sadly. They'll hit me for 4, but -1 because of my gambit here with the planetary shield. So they'll hit me for 3. I'm at 32 to their 21. And the new card came in. It was not a drone, so that's all fine. So their turn is done. I'm sorry, their turn is not done. They haven't assimilated yet. I'm sorry. So the next highest one is this 8 here. Oh, God, 8. All right. So they're going to take this. They will get this card here for the integration. They're going to hit me for 8 from this. However, it's going to be 7 because they're hitting me, and that's my gambit, so I'll hit them for 7. Now I'm at 25 to their 21. And Beacon of Kalos. It's a 5 cost. And they're going to assimilate that next. So I really need to try to get rid of my hand, but it's not going to look good, I don't think. So here we go. All right, so it's my turn. So I can do all the damage I can do, though, which is good. So this will be a damage-dealing hand. I'm pretty happy with this. So I've got 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, 3 recruit. So I've got that 3 trade value, and then I've got the attack values, which I'll deal with in a second. So let's do the trade first. So for a 3, I will pick up this. If for no other reason than to have it in the pile to maybe save it. Oh, God, it's drone. I didn't show it, but it's another drone. Okay. And a Nor type station, so basically Deep Space Nine, except this is Sentok Nor. So anyway, okay, so, and that was a Dominion location. So I have 1 drone to contend with, and for my total attack, I have, let me get rid of my scout ship here, I've already spent that. These also, I forgot about this, the 2 cruisers let me scrap cards in my hand or discard pile. So I'm going to get rid of 2 cards from there. So I'm going to get rid of these. I was going to get rid of a raider if I had it, but I don't. So I'll get rid of 2 scouts just to speed up the deck a little bit. Okay. Okay, now the actual damage dealing. So I've got 2 and 2 from these because they synergize the 2 Klingon ships. So I've got 4 plus 7, which is great. So that's what, 10, 11, and 12, plus the one from my gambit is 13. So 13, I could actually rescue the artifact here and keep it from going into their pile. Let me see. 5, or draw a card for each Romulan. So, interesting. And it's worth keeping away from them. Or I could put a pile of damage on them. They're only doing 5, and I'll soak it. You know what? I don't think I'm going to rescue the artifact. I think I'll let them have their cube back. And I'm going to put the 12, 13 on them, because that's a pretty good wallop when they only have 21. So let me do that. So I'm going to go 13 on them. That puts them to 8. Now, I don't know if that's going to keep them down or not, but we'll see. But that is that. And I'm sorry, let me put 1 back on them. I forgot. Had to get rid of the drone. So the 1 to the drone, and then 11 to the, or 12, because it was 13. So 12 to the sphere. So now they're at 9, not 8. And I have to lose my place here. I'm sorry. So then I have to figure out which one did the most damage. In that case, it was definitely the Romulans, because they did 7. The Klingons did 4, and the Independents did 1. So only 1 shield goes down. So I don't get the 2 shields. So I only get 1. So unfortunately, you can't throw down equal amounts, damage from 3 different factions all in the same turn and keep their shields down. I wish you could, but you can't. So let me draw my 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I still have a discard pile, so that's not good. And they're going to assimilate the artifact. And this will go away. And they're going to hit me for 5. Minus 1 is 4. And I'm at 21 to their 9. They're now going to assimilate the Beacon of Kalas Klingon, which means that they will now assimilate a ship with the highest cost from any discard pile. Now, this could cause this whole cascading effect. Now, if I do another Klingon ship, that will not go off again. It won't keep stealing cards. That ability only goes off the first time they take a ship of that faction. So if my highest value ship here is Klingon, which it's not, it's the Daredex class. But if it were, it would trigger. However, as I said, it is the Daredex class, unfortunately. So that will go back onto the pile, and then they'll get this back again. So that means that they now do another 6 damage to me, minus 1 for my planetary shield. I'm at 16 to their 9. And then we get another Klingon card. Fortunately, they will not stick around for this one. They're going to head, at this point, they're going to head all the way over here. Or they're going to try to. So they're going to be picking up all this other stuff on the way. So we're at 16 to 9 right now. So we have to throw down some damage. I may have a pretty good hand here, so we'll see what happens. Unfortunately, okay. Well, we'll see. Okay. So we've got these guys here. Well, I can move them twice, but they're as far away as they can be anyway. So, but I will have a total of 6, and 4 is 10 coming from the Dominion. And that should be enough to finish them off and win the game. And then these guys, I have 3 and 4. So, I'm sorry, 3 and 1 for that. And then this doesn't do me any good. So I could scrap a card in the row, but I don't really want to scrap it because it could be a drone or it could be a higher value Klingon card or something like that I don't want them to take. So in this particular case, I'm just going to throw down the 10 plus 1, so the 11 damage from the Dominion, and that will be the win, which is awesome. So, another Supreme lost the coin flip. Okay, so that was it in a nutshell. That was a very quick game. Usually Star Realms games goes pretty fast. Again, it's unusual that I won. I would say out of 10 games, I've won maybe 3. I would win about 3 out of every 10 games. They can get out of hand very quickly. I just want to see where these drones were going to be. There was another drone coming up there. At some point, there winds up being a stack of drones, which is where it gets really, really bad. So, anyway. But that's the game for you. I'll give you my final thoughts here in a second. I'm going to get this picked up and get back into my other setup for it. But, yeah, so that was Star Realms, Borg Invasion, Star Trek, Star Realms, Borg Invasion. So, that was the game. I'm actually surprised that I won. Did not see that coming, but I'm not going to complain about it. Wish I could have shown you a little bit more with the drones, the way they work, kind of the cascading waves that you get if there's a bad shuffle. I did a very even shuffle on them. I had the decks divided and, into like 6 different stacks, and then I shuffled the even numbers of drones into each one of those stacks, and then shuffled those stacks together, and then I shuffled those stacks into one stack. So they were a little probably more just evenly distributed than I've had in the past, because sometimes when they shuffle in, you wind up with 3, 4, 5 of them coming out at once. There are 30 drones total. I think there's, how many cards in the actual game? The actual game is 20 of each faction. So there's 80 cards in the deck by itself, right? And then you add in 30 more, so almost half the deck, another half of the deck. So basically a third of the deck. Math, yeah, about a third of the deck is drones. So, it can be rough. In this case, I got pretty lucky with it. But yeah, that's the way it works. It's like I said, it's not a super complicated game. You're not dealing with Into the Unknown or Captain's Chair or anything with this game. It's very cut and dried, very simple, which is nice. And especially for a solitaire game, it's nice to be able to play something where you can just kind of set it up, play, throw some cards, down, beat up the Borg, and then go back to your day. It also kind of helps thematically if you're a Trek nerd like me, with the fact that the basic Star Trek Star Realms, you're just kind of putting together a fleet of different factions and then fighting another fleet of different factions. So unless you're kind of going with like a mirror universe thing, it's like, why is my Federation guy teaming up with the this Romulan guy to beat up on your Romulan guy and your Klingon guy and your Federation guy. It's just kind of strange. But when it's against the Borg, it makes perfect sense because now these disparate factions have all come together against a common foe. So it makes a whole lot more sense thematically that you would have Klingons and Romulans and Dominion and Federation all working together in your deck against a common threat of the Borg. So it's a lot of fun that way. So anyway, my final thoughts on this. I think Star Trek Star Realms by itself is probably, a 6 or 7, maybe an 8, but probably a 7 would be my best guess on that. But adding the Borg Invasion to it, really, again, as a Trek fan, it adds a lot to it. So I would almost put it at a 9, at least right now I would. I have not played it with other people yet, but as a solitaire game, which I kind of thirst for at times because sometimes it's hard to get some of these Trek games to the table. So as a Trek gamer, the fact that this is solitaire play is great. So that kind of puts it in that 9 category for me. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Let me know what you think, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks a lot.